Hi guys, welcome all of you. Can anyone quickly confirm am I audible or not? Okay, fine. So, welcome all of you after the festival of break, and till now we have covered a lot of things and lot of topics regarding to the programming language, cloud, uh, a little bit of operating system concepts we have covered, and how we can integrate all of these. What's the server, what's the port number, what's the firewall is, how you can configure the servers in the uh, local operating system, like your bare metal, or it's on virtualization, or it's on the cloud instance. So I have covered all of these points, but there was one thing, as I told in our previous session. There was a, if you are using any OS to run any application, you need to provide your identity, which I covered by the IEM thing, Identity Access Manager. So you have to give your identity. So for identity, what you are giving. So if I show you for the identity what we are giving, let me just open my task manager. So I'm just running multiple applications right now in our system. So if you see, there was a status or every process. For example, I'm running this Google Chrome. So in this Google Chrome, there was multiple things, and if I can show you the details, yeah. So if you are seeing, there was one user, and inside this one user, we are running this application. So all the application which I am running, what I have to do, I have to first log in with my user, and after that I can run any program. So when we are running any program or process, so this process is created by the user. So every process which we are creating, it's associated with one user. Okay, so if I talk about the user and about the permission, so in our general way, we don't want to give our user all the permissions. Simply, the thing is, for example, there was one server which is running multiple application. For the sake, just assume it's running some web app server, like web server. It's running some MySQL. It is running some monitoring application. For example, these are the three applications. So we don't want to give all the permission to any user, because see, the thing is, yeah, if I say in the industry, there was a three different type of engineers and workers which we have. For assume, for the web app, we have a web developer or full stack developer. So they are working with the web app. They know about the web app, but they don't know about the databases thing. So we don't want to give the permissions if anything they have done by the mistake. So our application might goes down, or it might we will face some trouble. So we are giving the certain permission which every user need according to their role. So how we can restrict them to running these command only or these command only or these command only. For example, if I talk about database and MySQL, there was one command MySQL command for database. So we want only MySQL command by run by the databases guy. So we can create the group, and we can after the group we can assign the users there, and we have to assign the permission. But how we can assign the permission to run any particular program or process to user? So for this example, if we are giving the permission, so in the technical, permission is called like a privilege. Like if you know, we are giving some privilege to in the general terms we are saying we are giving the privilege to you. So privilege means that we are giving the authority and the permission that you can do this work. And what we are doing, we are extending that privilege. So we are escalating that. So the topic which we are covering today is privilege escalate. Sorry, privilege escalation. So this topic is we are covering today. There is not so much configuration we have to do here, but for this we have to understand some terminology. So what we are doing, we are not. There was one thing. Three types of user, as I already covered. One is general user, and second one is root, and third one is service user. So if I tell you, root user have the all the capabilities. So what we can do, we can give general user to run the root user, run as a root user, but only for the certain number of commands. Okay, that means we are saying you are the root to any user or group. You are the root, but for certain programs. That means you have this capability. You can use root user permission to run that. So what we are doing, we are using one sudo. Sudo is like if you know what the sudo means. Uh, if you are starting in the end, we are running the sudo code, which looks like actual code, but it's not. It's like normal steps. So there's the same thing in the here. We are using any other identity and covering our, like we are using the sudo identity. That's why this method is called the sudo method. By the sudo, we are giving our general user permission to the general service user permission to run any certain command. Okay, so it's not like you are giving over the root only. You can say, for example, if I have one user Jack and user Bob, so we can give the Jack user to run the some command by the like becoming the Bob user also. But in general way, we are giving the root one. So we are using the root, but it's not limited to the root. You can give any one user the permission of other users as well. Okay, and you can restrict the that commands also, the process also, or you can give the permission to the directly to the group or user. But how you can do that, and what's the needed? See, if we are giving in the real industry world, the root user will already disabled. Why? Because we know if we are giving anyone root permission, so they can do whatever they want in our system. But you don't want that thing. And for the sudo permission, we generally need, because see, the thing is, you can install or uninstall any package with the root permission only. That means you can't install any package for the sake you need any installation or upgradation of any package. So you can't do by without the root permission. So for that, we are giving the these permission to our user. Okay. So how we can do that? And so for that, let me on turn on my VM. At the meantime, it's turning on. We can go ahead to the other topic. So, just the thing of privilege escalation, what we can do. Okay, and same the thing in the if say in IEM, it's not like you can become something there, but there we can give the permission for the certain action. So there was a they have some terminology called action and resource. So what we are doing, we are giving the policy set, like permission set. We called in the database we call it policy. So in the that policy, we are giving the allow or deny kind of permission for certain kind of resource. So you can mention the list of the action, what you can, what you want to allow, and then you can mention the resource for which resource you want to allow. Okay. So if I quickly show you the permission set, let me log in with the training info. if I say policy, so there was multiple policy. For example, let me show you some example policy called S3. See, S3 read only access. For example. So if I show you, there was permissions here which attached. If you can see, there was the effect called allow, like you can allow that effect. What's effect? Like S3 get list and S3 object lambda get list. That means what you can do, you can just read that. You can get the information of that and you can list it only. And for which user? Asterisk. Like asterisk means for all the users. You can do this operation. Sorry, for all the resource. So that means whatever S3 buckets you have, you can get the information of that. But you can't delete it, you can't update it. There was multiple. You can see and how you can create the policy. Let me show you. If you want to create your own, so there was this button. You can create by this. You can choose the service for which service you want to create the policy. So for the example, I want for the S3. I am choosing that. It will load all the access what you want: list, read, tagging, write, permission management. So if you are opening this thing, so you can see a lot of things. Like in the read, you will see describe and get. So there we are giving the get strict means all these things. So if I select in this and get a list, there was the same thing, and it will give you the resources like one more action you need. You have to give here. So it's like you have to give the access ARN type for everything, and if you want to specific for the one resource, but if you want for the all, you can mention all. It's good to give the permission for the like particular specific resource, and if you don't want, you can. Also, it's like this is a visual editor. You can select and that, or you can see the JSON of this. So if you're seeing, this was the thing, which permission we have attached. Okay, so by this we can change the permissions of that. I think this will this was that. So if I log in with my this user for the well, so for example, if I do sudo date for the, so see what is mean, with trust to you received this, and it needs your password, so you have to authenticate yourself and saying sorry, I'm giving the wrong name. It is running, but if I can show you how it's running by the root, see this is showing the ID. If I giving the normal ID, it's saying, but how my this user have the permission to run the date command. Okay, and how you can say, so if I go, I'm just changing the username user. If you want, you can also do. So in the etc folder, there was one file called the sudoers. So sorry, this is, so this is saying read only because we have logged in whatever the friend we are trying to put in. So if you see this allowed the root, to run all the permissions and all the one. And so in this file, I think we have given somewhere to run these permission, like run this permission. So why this is asking for the password for that, because there you have mentioned this all, so run all permission. And if we are giving this keyword, if we can switch the user by the pass without the password also. Let me log in by the role. So I can show you. Slash 86 slash root. No issues. What we can do here, let me create a one more user add jack pass jack. I am giving my default password. So if I show you, I can run the date command, and if I am using sudo date, it's issuing our password. We are giving the password. See, jack is not in the sudo's file. It is saying that. So why it's not? Because we didn't add the permission. So in fact, if you are giving the sudo ID also, na, it is asking for the password again and seeing it that. So how we can change this? So let me open this thing, and what I am doing, I am just copying this thing and giving the check. Now I need to check and sudo date. You can see you have to give the password first. Yeah, you can run this, and in fact if you are doing sudo id, you can see while you are running this by the root. But we don't want to give for all the commands. So what we can do for before that, in the first time we have to give the password. So let's remove the password first, and after that we will give restrict for the some. So how you can restrict the, like we can skip this. So here we can give no pass wt. So if I want to, I am doing sudo date. See, it's running date sudo id. So I'm just using two commands to show you. You can use another. So what if you see we are not giving the password now, you can just use the sudo, and we have to restrict some uh, permission. So how we can do in that thing where we are giving the this all, we can give the file name, and for that which command we want it can run the date. Which date? This have been date. So if you see, if you want to do sudo date, it's running. But if we are using sudo id, it's saying it's not allowed. What is not? It's not allowed to run this file for the root. So you can, by this way you can attach. And how you can attach the permission to the any group is a simple thing. What we have to do, in the place we are giving the this username, you can mention the percentage symbol in the beginning, and it will treat this as a group name. So if you are seeing this word, like if you want to give the permission to the wheel group, so you can use this. Okay. Here you can see all the other configuration also if you want. say like you can assign the sudo permission. And why we need that? Because the user which you have in the Ansible, when we are using the Ansible, so which user you have there, we are not if I can show you specifics there. In the here privilege escalation, so if you are giving the privilege escalation method for like your some task need the sudo permission or like a privilege of other user, so you can't run it there, it will fail because of the permission here. So if you are giving a privilege escalation in the Ansible, so you that user have the sudo permission, or we can say that user have the we have the entry by that user in our system. So if you see, become means become true, like it will always become. And which method we are using sudo method. Which user we want to become, we want to root, so you can mention other user also. And is it the ask become password is false, so this is the same like no pass wd, so you don't have to give the password for the first time, you don't have to give. So this is the privilege question how you can use here. Also you can mention these thing in every task also, or otherwise we can generally what we are doing, we are giving not for every task, we are giving it in the general way on. And if we need to disable it for certain task, we can mention that become equal to false. So this way we are doing it. And this how you can use the sudo's file to assign the permission. And from the next session we will go in the Ansible part. And in the Ansible we have much more scalable thing how we can set the playbook. Playbook is not scalable and not parameterized that much. So we will introduce you one kind of rule. So it's not the rule as the same in the AWS, but uh, like there was some similarity as well. I will talk about that thing uh, in the next session. How you can use that Ansible rule and why we need that's more scalable. I will talk about that parameter thing, what the priority of the parameters, the where files which we have, the YML file. So that thing we'll talk about it. Till that time, you can use the privilege escalation thing. Uh, then try to don't use that root user from as of now. So you can just log in by the your normal user, and then for every command, if you need the root, you can just try with the sudo. So you will get the familiar how we are implementing these things in our real scenarios. Okay, till that you can practice all the concepts. And uh, we are also giving one kind of small project also in some time. So just make sure you will complete that as soon as possible. And perform that project as best as you can. So we have other plans also for you guys. Till that time, yeah, bye guys and practice. And also, if you like this video, you can share with your known friends, and let's subscribe the channel.